All right, shalom and welcome to Just a Word. This is Kazak Eliyahu, and I'm here with the family as we go through our Shabbat teaching. And today, what do we have today? I don't even know what we have today. A couple days ago, I was before I awoke, a voice came to me and said, "We speak wisdom among them that are perfect." And sometimes the instructions for the teachings come that way. And so I sought to see what it would be about. And I didn't even finish because we actually changed the times for the Shabbat here and we brought it forward so the Shabbat began earlier. So the times that I would be there still meditating on the word to get the insight, that time is not with us. So guess what? We're going to go on a journey and see what the Most High has to say to us. We speak wisdom among them that are perfect. Now let's begin with this song that was sung this morning here, and it said something. Let's start at James 3, verse 1. It said some things. James 3, verse 1.
My brethren, be not many masters, knowing that we shall receive the greater condemnation.
That many masters there means teachers. Do not strive to be teachers, because the weight of a teacher far greater than most people can bear. And they will receive the greater condemnation. Continue.
For in many things we offend all. If any man offend not in word, the same is a perfect man, and able also to bridle the whole body.
So wisdom among those who are perfect. So the wisdom here, we speak wisdom among those who are perfect. The perfect man is able to bridle his whole body. He will not offend in word. That means the wisdom that comes from the Most High, there is a righteousness that is attached to it. So, you see, when we're seeking out the wisdom of the scriptures, we have to make sure that our lives are aligned. Let me tell you something that most people do. This is one of the core things that I get from this. When we are studying scriptures, people take up the Bible and they study the scriptures. No thought for righteousness whatsoever. Little or no thought for righteousness, or whether their lives are in line or whatever, or whether they are causing sin, creating sin. And they go and they study the scriptures. That doesn't make any sense. Because that doesn't make any sense. Because the one that is perfect is able to bridle the whole body and will not offend in word. So our studying of the scriptures is going to be greatly impacted by what we do, by the life that we live. Let's go down now to about verse 13.
Who is a wise man and endued with knowledge among you? Let him show out of a good conversation his works with meekness of wisdom.
Again, the wise man will show out of a good behavior, his works with meekness of wisdom. Again, righteousness attached to the wisdom. What you have in this world, and you see, when we're out there following people, you see YouTube, Facebook, all of those places, everybody is a teacher, everybody is a preacher. And some of them say some nice things. And they have great production. They have great videos that are so attractive. And they have great following. Because the greater the following that people have, is the more candy they are giving. If you want children to follow you, you have to give them sweets. When these people have a lot of people following them, let me tell you something. It's highly unlikely that they are going to be speaking the whole truth. So when you're out there and you're listening to people and you're following people, you could get into snare with them. Let him show out of a good conversation his works with meekness of wisdom. Do we know the works of these people? Do we know their life? Do we know the life that they live? Because if they are not in right standing with the Most High, then they are going to mislead you. Verse 14.
But if ye have bitter envying and strife in your hearts, exalt not, and lie not against the truth.
Continue.
This wisdom descendeth not from above, but is earthly, sensual, devilish.
So whenever there is strife or envying in our hearts, we know that that is not from the Most High. Period. Verse 16.
For where envying and strife is, there is confusion in every evil work.
There is that word here that I always like, confusion. I always tell people, Yahuwah is an allure of order. Because the opposite of order is confusion. So where there is confusion, there is every evil work. That means wherever there is confusion, that is where the devil takes root. That is where he is in charge. Where there is envying and strife. Where there is confusion, there will be every evil work. So for us as believers, we have to make sure that at all times we are in order. That there is no confusion. Because as long as there is confusion, Satan gets a license to be among us and to cause problems. So the wisdom that comes from the Most High, the one that we are speaking about today, verse 17.
But the wisdom that is from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, and easy to be entreated, full of mercy and good fruits, without partiality and without hypocrisy.
This is that wisdom. You know which one I like? Easy to be entreated. So many of us think we know things, and nobody can speak to us about anything. We know it all. Yeah? And if we go online, it's full of those things. People, almost everybody that is preaching, there's no... To find humility when someone gets criticized, that is very, very, very rare. And that is how you know that many of us who are there preaching, teaching, it's not the wisdom from above that is leading us. Full of mercy and good fruits. You have to have good fruits, you have to have mercy. Without partiality, no respecter of persons. And without hypocrisy, not saying one thing and doing the other. Peaceable, always seeking peace. Gentle, always kind, taking his time. Patience, long-suffering with others. Okay? You need a mic. Hold on. Is it on? Oh, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Mic check 1, 2. Yeah. You touched on us not knowing anything. Let's go to Corinthians 8:2 and 3. I don't know if you want to start from one.
You have 2 Corinthians, you know.
1 Corinthians
1 Corinthians what?
8, verse 2 to 3.
Yeah.
And if any man think that he knoweth anything, he knoweth nothing, yet as he ought to know. But if any man love a lure, the same is known of him.
I think this should be coming up later, I think so, yeah. All right, so we just began. All right, let me start now with this wisdom that among those who are perfect. It was prophesied that we would be a kingdom of priests. Exodus 19 verses 5 to 6. It was prophesied that we would be a kingdom of priests. Go, please.
Now therefore, if you will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests, and an set apart nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Yasharel.
So the children of Yasharel will be a kingdom of priests, a set apart nation. Okay, so the royal priesthood belongs to Yasharel. These are the promises. In Romans 9 verse 4, Shaul says, to whom pertaineth the promises. So the promises belong to Yasharel. So the royal priesthood, the kingdom of priests, the set apart nation belongs to Yasharel. Now Peter told us that through Yahusha, we are the fulfillment of that promise. 1 Peter 2, 7 to 10. 1 Peter 2, 7 to 10. Through Yahusha HaMashiach, we are the fulfillment of that promise.
Unto you therefore, which
Start from 6.
wherefore also it is contained in the scripture, behold, I lay in Zion a chief cornerstone, elect, precious, and he that believeth on him shall not be confounded. Unto you therefore, which believe he is precious, but unto them which be disobedient, the stone which the builders disallowed, the same is made the head of the corner,
That is Yahusha HaMashiach. Continue.
and a stone of stumbling, and a rock of offense, even to them which stumble at the word, being disobedient, whereunto also they were appointed. But ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, and set apart nation, a peculiar people, that ye should show forth the praises of him who hath called you out of darkness into his marvelous light, which in time past were not a people, but are now the people of Elua, which had not obtained mercy, but now have obtained mercy.
All right, so we're not a people. This goes back to Hosea 1 when the Most High said, call them not my people. So the children of Yasharal were disowned by the Most High. And now, through Yahushua Mashiach, it says you are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a peculiar people. So we are a kingdom of priests. Stay with me. But a blind priest is not acceptable before the Most High. A blind priest, we're going to go into depths. A blind priest is not acceptable before the Most High. Because we have to go to the law and to the testimony. If they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. So we are called to be a royal priesthood, a set apart nation, But a blind priest cannot be acceptable or is not acceptable before the Most High. Leviticus 21 verses 17 to 24. Go ahead, please.
Speak unto Aaron, saying, Whosoever he be of thy seed in their generations that hath any blemish, let him not approach to offer the bread of his allure. For whatsoever man he be that hath a blemish, he shall not approach. A blind man, or a lame, or he that hath a flat nose, or anything superfluous, or a man that is broken-footed, or broken-handed, or crook-backed, or a dwarf, or that hath a blemish in his eye, or be scurvy, or scabbed, or hath his stones broken. No man that hath a blemish of the seed of Aaron, the priest, shall come nigh to offer the offerings of Yahuwah made by fire. He hath a blemish, he shall not come nigh to offer the bread of his allure.
Now this is this physical similitude to the spiritual requirement that if we are going to be a royal priesthood, a set apart nation, that we cannot have any blemish at all. That is why it is said that Yahusha is coming back for an assembly without spot and blameless. We cannot go into the kingdom with sin. We cannot be a royal priesthood when we have sin as a luggage. So when we hear people in religion telling us, oh, we are all sinners, we cannot be perfect, they are condemning themselves to Sheol. Continue verse 22.
He shall eat the bread of his allure, both of the most holy and of the holy.
So he cannot offer the bread, but through the mercy of the Most High, he will be allowed to eat of the bread. Verse 23.
Only he shall not go in unto the veil, nor come nigh unto the altar, because he hath a blemish, that he profane not my sanctuaries, for I, Yahuwah, do sanctify them. And Moses told it unto Aaron, and to his sons, and unto all the children of Yasharel.
And also, he said, what did he say about the sanctuary here? He said that he profaned not my sanctuaries. Many of us are profaning his sanctuaries on the Shabbat when we profane the Shabbat. If we go about the Shabbat doing our own pleasure, doing our own thing, then we are profaning his Shabbat. Leviticus 19 verse 30 quickly. Read it, please.
Ye shall keep my Sabbaths, and reverence my sanctuary. I am Yahuwah.
That is a command. You should reverence my sanctuary. And that reverence there is to revere, causatively to frighten, to be or make afraid, to dread, to be dreadful. And it goes on. So when it says reverence his sanctuary, his his assembly, and we profane his assembly at times with what we do, with what we say, then we are breaking the Most High's commandments. Anyway, so the priest that is blind cannot offer before the Most High. What is that doing? Oh man, what is this doing? I'm trying to get. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, the Most High is so serious about this blind thing. We cannot even sacrifice a blind or blemished animal before the Most High. Deuteronomy 15:19 to 23. Last week we looked at blindness. We're going to look at it a little deeper. Deuteronomy 15:19 to 23.
All the firstling males that come of thy herd and of thy flock thou shalt sanctify unto Yahuwah thy Eluah. Thou shalt do no work with the firstling of thy bullock, nor shear the firstling of thy sheep. Thou shalt eat it before Yahuwah thy Eluah, year by year, in the place which Yahuwah shall choose, thou and thy household. And if there be any blemish therein, as if it be lame or blind, or have any ill blemish, thou shalt not sacrifice it unto Yahuwah thy Eluah.
So the Most High is so serious about the blind. Now this sacrifice here that he's speaking about, the spiritual implication of it, is that whatever you're offering unto the Most High, it has to be in perfect health, in perfect force. So if you're even here singing to the Most High, you have to give it all you got. That is a sacrifice without blemish. And we cannot offer it in sin. Cleanse ourselves before we offer a sacrifice unto the Most High. Verse 22.
Thou shalt eat it within thy gates. The unclean and the clean person shall eat it alike, as the roebuck and as the hart. Only thou shalt not eat the blood thereof. Thou shalt pour it upon the ground as water.
Right, so that's a side part to it. So, no eating anything that is blemished. Malachi 1, verse 8. Remember, the law is spiritual. Cannot offer anything with blemish before the Most High. It is evil before Him. Malachi 1, verse 8.
And if ye offer the blind for sacrifice, is it not evil? And if ye offer the lame and sick, is it not evil? Offer it now unto thy governor. Will he be pleased with thee, or accept thy person, saith Yahuwah Sabaoth.
And this also refers to when you're giving people things. You don't give them the worst. You don't give them the thing that you have that is broken or is not working, or you no longer have use for it because something is wrong with it. Right? You give off your best. Anyway, it says if you offer the blind, all right? But the Most High's mercy is on the blind and the lame. Now, the Most High sent His people into captivity. And in captivity, His people got into all sorts of problems. The blind and the lame here, for us today, is speaking, what should you call it? Spiritually. When we are blind, it means we cannot see. We have been blinded by the Most High. Romans 11:25 says, blindness in part has happened to Yasharal until the fullness of the Gentiles be come in. We have been blinded by the Most High because of the iniquity of our fathers that has been passed down unto us. And so now we are blind. And if we are not blind, we are lame. Lame means we are limping. We might have a little understanding, a little light, but there is still something that is missing. So, we are either blind or we are lame. But the Most High's mercy is on the blind and the lame among His people. Let's go to Jeremiah 31, start at verse 7. Go ahead.
For thus saith Yahuwah, sing with gladness for Jacob, and shout among the chief of the nations. Publish ye, praise ye, and say, O Yahuwah, save thy people, the remnant of Yasharel. Behold, I will bring them from the north country, and gather them from the coasts of the earth, and with them the blind and the lame,
With them there.
the blind and the lame,
Continue.
the woman with child, and her that travaileth with child together. A great company shall return thither.
So, in this gathering that we are having, it serves us well to be blind. We're going to look at the implication of blind. We looked at it last week. It serves us well to be blind. When we know everything, when we know we are going to be in trouble. Verse 9, let's see what will happen with the blind and all of that.
They shall come with weeping, and with supplications will I lead them. I will cause them to walk by the rivers of waters in a straight way,
Okay.
wherein they shall not stumble. For I am a father to Yasharel, and Ephraim is my firstborn.
So how can he cause them to walk by the rivers of waters in a straight way? He's going to give them what? Wisdom. He's gonna gather them, and he's gonna give them wisdom. So they are gonna walk by the rivers of waters in a straight way, wherein they shall not stumble. And the rivers of waters there refers to ruachot, spirits. Now we have come here and we have seen the action of spirits. Satan and his evil ruachot, how they try to pummel us. And how they attack us every now and again. Alright? This the Most High says, He will cause us to walk in a straight way, wherein we will not stumble. Verse 10.
Hear the word of Yahuwah, O ye nations, and declare it in the isles afar off, and say, He that scattered Yasharel will gather him, and keep him, as a shepherd doth his flock. For Yahuwah hath redeemed Jacob, and ransomed him from the hand of him that was stronger than he.
So in this gathering now, I want us to understand what is happening here. He promises to bring the blind, the lame, the woman with child, a great company. Then he also promised that he will cause them to walk by the rivers of waters in a straight way wherein they shall not stumble. Then he tells you that he will gather them. You want to see the process of the Most High? Yes? For Yahuwah hath redeemed Jacob and ransomed him from the hand of him that is stronger than he. No, I've said this so many times. People, be careful of people who you listen to out there. You're listening to people who the Most High has not even given the word to flee out of Babylon. You're listening to people who have not been gathered. The Most High is not going to gather you somewhere, and then when He gives you someone to show you His way, then He will not give that person what you need to know and to learn. He gathers you, He's going to give you people who are going to teach you, and we're going to show the scriptures. The people out there, they're in a whole different zone. Okay? When the Most High speaks to us, He speaks to us strategically. If you notice every week when we have teachings, one teaching leads to the other. Because we spoke about blindness last week, we're coming here into blindness again. That's how the Most High works. Systematically, strategically, step by step, He gives you the building blocks that you need to know. There are people here who don't listen to what is happening here. They are so excited about those who are outside. Yes? Wherever the cow is tired, let him feed there. Verse 12, we're going to see more of that. Verse 12.
Therefore they shall come and sing in the height of Zion, and shall flow together to the goodness of Yahuwah.
They shall do what?
Flow together.
Flow together. When the Most High calls us, He calls us to be together. What did we speak about earlier? We spoke about confusion. Yahuwah is not the author of confusion. The Most High is going to call you. And then He's going to send you to talk to somebody out there. The same people who refuse the message or haven't even got the message to flee out of Babylon. They shall flow together. And the word flow together is the Hebrew word nahar, which means to sparkle. Hence, from the sheen of a running stream, to flow, that is figuratively assemble. So when the Most High assembled the children of Israel in the wilderness, did He send for people to speak to them? Oh, they were directed by Moses. They were directed by one person. Continue, please.
And shall flow together to the goodness of Yahuwah, for wheat, and for wine, and for oil, and for the young of the flock, and of the herd, and their soul shall be as a watered garden, and they shall not sorrow any more at all.
Continue.
Then shall the virgin rejoice in the dance, both young men and old together, for I will turn their mourning into joy, and will comfort them, and make them rejoice from their sorrow.
All right, go to verse 18.
I have surely heard Ephraim bemoaning himself thus: Thou hast chastised me, and I was chastised, as a bullock unaccustomed to the yoke. Turn thou me, and I shall be turned, for thou art Yahuwah, my Eluah.
So the blind were chastised, and in the end, the Most High is going to redeem them. Let me see where should it go. Go to 27.
Behold, the days come, saith Yahuwah, that I will sow the house of Yasharel and the house of Judah with the seed of man and with the seed of beast. And it shall come to pass that like as I have watched over them, to pluck up and to break down, and to throw down and to destroy, and to afflict, so will I watch over them, to build and to plant, saith Yahuwah. In those days they shall say no more, the fathers have eaten a sour grape, and the children's teeth are set on edge. But every one shall die for his own iniquity. Every man that eateth the sour grape, his teeth shall be set on edge.
All right, and later on we're going to look at the new covenant with Yahusha and Shaul. All right, so His mercy is on the blind and the lame to deliver them. But being blind can also be to our destruction. We're going to look at blindness and unbelief. This is very important. Being blind can be good. Let me tell you the difference. When you're blind, the good blind is when you don't see because the truth has not been revealed to you. So you are there and nothing has been revealed to you. You're going around in false religion. Like many of the people here, when we came, they're in false religion, Christianity, and worshipping ancestral spirits and all sorts of witchcraft, enchantment involved, thinking that that is the way. And I spoke with someone, was it yesterday? And he was asking me about it. And he was telling me the different things that they do and they see. And he says these people see these things. He was asking, what about it? Because they go to these people, the Sangoma, and they tell them what is going to happen to them. They cure them. They do all sorts of good things for them. And he says the people see this and they believe in it. Yeah? So these people are blinded. That is the good blind. Sounds funny, but it's good because they don't know. But here is the blind that is bad. It is when the truth is revealed to them now, and they see the truth, and they see it as the truth, and then guess what? They reject the truth. That is the blindness that leads us to destruction. When we are, the truth is revealed to us and we reject it. Let's go to John 12, 36 to 43. When the truth becomes, John 12, 36 to 43. When blindness becomes a problem. Read, please.
While ye have light, believe in the light, that ye may be the children of light. These things spake Yahusha, and departed, and did hide himself from them. But though he had done so many miracles before them, yet they believed not on him, that the saying of Esaias the prophet might be fulfilled, which he spake, Yahuwah, who hath believed our report, and to whom hath the arm of Yahuwah been revealed? Therefore they could not believe, because that Esaias said again, He hath blinded their eyes, and hardened their heart, that they should not see with their eyes, nor understand with their heart, and be converted, and I should heal them.
There we go. Hamashiach declared in verse 36, while you have light, believe in the light, that ye may be children of the light. But he did many miracles, but they believed not on him. Because what? Their eyes have been blinded. He had blinded their eyes and hardened their heart. So the light that Hamashiach is speaking about is that little spark. The miracles that he's doing. Look at the miracles and start thinking. Yeah? So that your eyes could possibly be opened. Now important again, let's continue. So they did not believe, and so they were blinded. Verse 41.
These things said Esaias, when he saw his splendor, and spake of him. Nevertheless, among the chief rulers also, many believed on him. But because of the Pharisees, they did not confess him, lest they should be put out of the synagogue. For they loved the praise of men more than the praise of Yahuwah.
All right. So here's another thing now. Belief. Belief has to be accompanied by confession. It is no sense we believe and keep it a secret in our hearts. We have to confess. So the Pharisees believed, but they did not confess. It did not benefit them. Because Hamashiach said, if you're ashamed of me, then I will be ashamed of you before the Father. Yes? Let me see if I can get the verse. Let me get the verse so I get the exact words. Mark 8:38.
Whosoever therefore shall be ashamed of me and of my words in this adulterous and sinful generation, of him also shall the Son of Man be ashamed when he cometh in the splendor of his Father with the set-apart angels.
All right. So, blindness and unbelief. 2 Corinthians 4:4. Let's see what this unbelief does. So it's very important to listen, very important to prove all things. Very, very important, because if we have unbelief, then Satan has us. 2 Corinthians 4:4.
In whom?
Not verse 3.
But if our good news be hid, it is hid to them that are lost, in whom the allure of this world hath blinded the minds of them
Which do what?
which believe not,
Which believe not.
lest the light of the exalted good news of Hamashiach, who is the image of allure, should shine unto them.
So those who are lost, their minds have been blinded because they do not believe. Satan is given permission to blind their minds. Very important that we believe. So as I said, the good blind is when we are not exposed to anything. Virgin minds. Yes? The truth has been hidden from us and we don't know it. Those are the people who the Most High will open their eyes. But when we know, when we see, and we reject it, then we are going to be in problems.
Yeah, it puts me into the mind of when Lazarus died. But as it said that he's sleeping, that he told his disciples that this sickness is not of death, and we have to wait. And he tell them, the reason why I'm waiting, because the Most High time is not yet for that to happen. And then he also said that he waited that long for they can see, and hopefully they believe from seeing the miracles. Hopefully they would be enlightened. So he went to the site and brought him out, hoping that they would see and know that he is Yahushua HaMashiach, and hoping that the light that was inside of them now come out, because they now see and believe.
Yeah. So, these people that he has together, thank you, these people that he has together, they have been exploited. Jeremiah 50, verses 4 to 20. They have been exploited in Babylon. We're getting to our generation now. When we start talking about Babylon, it's our time. Jeremiah 50, verses 4 to 20.
In those days and in that time, saith Yahuwah,
In this time here, go ahead.
the children of Yasharel shall come, they and the children of Judah together, going and weeping. They shall go and seek Yahuwah, their allure.
You see how many things it is saying here in this verse? The children of Yasharal and the children of Judah, that's the whole 12 tribes, northern kingdom and southern kingdom. They shall go and they shall be weeping, and they shall seek Yahuwah their allure. Seek Yahuwah their allure. They are not going to take the Most High for granted. That is why we did a teaching a few weeks ago about getting rid of the cleansing ourselves and then going and seeking Yahuwah. We here who have come out of Babylon, our task is to seek Yahuwah. Remember, Yahuwah is not God. And we had this conversation yesterday again. I had this conversation with someone again. And I told him that our task is to seek Yahuwah. Yahuwah is not God. God, you just know a few things about him, and then you just do a few things religiously, and you're good. But with Yahuwah, Yahuwah hideth himself. Yahuwah hides himself, keeps himself away from us, and just stays in the background. For us to have a relationship with him, we have to seek him with all our hearts. And ye shall seek me and find me when ye shall search for me with all your hearts. So we have to search for him with all our hearts. Going and weeping. They shall go and seek Yahuwah, their allure. Verse 5. Someone was asking about Zion here this morning. Verse 5.
They shall ask the way to Zion with their faces thitherward, saying, Come, and let us join ourselves to Yahuwah in a perpetual covenant that shall not be forgotten.
All right. Everything is going to come into place, people. We're going to putting the building blocks, pulling pieces together. So the 12 tribes will ask the way to Zion and say, come, let us join ourselves to Yahuwah in a perpetual covenant that shall not be forgotten. Verse 6.
My people hath been lost sheep.
This is where we want to get it. This is where we want to get it. My people have been lost sheep. When we were in Babylon, we were under the influences of Babylon and their religion. And their religions. Now we are awakening. My people have been lost sheep. Let's hear the story about that.
Their shepherds have caused them to go astray.
You see why I'm telling you? Those of us who are here. The Most High will not bring you out of Babylon, send you back in Babylon to hear from these people who have caused the Most High's people to lead them astray. Read 6 again, please.
My people hath been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. They have turned them away on the mountains. They have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place.
So they went from one religion to the other. And they forgot their place of rest, because in Isaiah 28, when he's speaking about precept upon precept, let's see what it says in verse 12 and jump back quickly. They have forgotten their resting place. And let's see what it says in Isaiah 28 about this resting place. Verse 12.
To whom he said, this is the rest wherewith ye may cause the weary to rest, and this is the refreshing, yet they would not hear.
So because they did not want to hear, the Most High made them forget their resting place. Yes? And then these pastors were the tools that were actually used to make them move from place to place, forgetting their resting place, forgetting Yasharal, forgetting who they are or who they were. So, verse 7.
All that found them have devoured them, and their adversaries said, we offend not, because they have sinned against Yahuwah, the habitation of justice,
Right.
even Yahuwah,
Yeah, continue.
the hope of their fathers.
So they're adversaries, that means our oppressors. They say they don't offend because, hey, they have sinned against Yahuwah, so we have all rights to do what we're doing to them. Verse 8.
Remove out of the midst of Babylon, and go forth out of the land of the Chaldeans, and be as the he-goats before the flocks.
All right. The more we see this coming out of Babylon, the more we get an understanding of the different things that the Most High wants. You're an Israelite. You're going to be lost. You're going to forget your resting place. Then you're going to awaken and find out who you are. When you find out who you are, do you think to find out who you are is to now sit back in the United States of America or Trinidad or wherever, Bahamas, wherever our people are? Do you think it is to sit in Jamaica, to sit in those places and say, okay, I'm an Israelite? Oh, when you realize who you are, it is time to leave. To ask your way to Zion. I'm an Israelite, so where is Zion? Because the Most High's promise is that he's going to take me to Zion. That is your next move. As you hear that you're an Israelite and find out, the first thing, look at verse 5. They shall ask the way to Zion with their faces to the word, saying, come and let us join ourselves to Yahuwah in a perpetual covenant that shall not be forgotten. So, you realize that you're an Israelite. Your father sinned against the Most High. You're going to say, wow, they sinned against the Most High. No, I have to renew that covenant. My task is to renew that covenant. Let me go to Zion. Let us go to Zion. Not to sit in the midst of Babylon. Verse 9.
For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country and they shall set themselves array against them. And from thence she shall be taken. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain. And Chaldea shall be a spoil. All that spoil her shall be satisfied, saith Yahuwah. Because ye were glad, because ye rejoiced, O ye destroyers of mine heritage, because ye are grown fat as the heifer at grass, and bellow as bulls. Your mother shall be sore confounded. She that bare you shall be ashamed. Behold, the hindermost of the nations shall be a wilderness, a dry land, and a desert.
Let me see where to go now. Verse 19.
And I will bring Yasharel again to his habitation, and he shall feed on Carmel and Bashan, and his soul shall be satisfied upon Mount Ephraim and Gilead. In those days and in that time, saith Yahuwah, the iniquity of Yasharel shall be sought for, and there shall be none, and the sins of Judah, and they shall not be found. For I will pardon them whom I reserve.
I will pardon them whom I reserve. No. I remember, this week I was doing a video about all Israel shall be saved. He will reserve some to be saved. Not all Israelites will be saved. He will reserve some to be saved. Zephaniah 3:10-13.
From beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, my suppliants, even the daughter of my dispersed, shall bring mine offering. In that day shalt thou not be ashamed for all thy doings, wherein thou hast transgressed against me. For then I will take away out of the midst of thee them that rejoice in thy pride, and thou shalt no more be haughty because of my set-apart mountain.
Right, so there is a subtraction that's going to take place. The proud will be taken out. Yeah? And who will be left remaining? Verse 12.
I will also leave in the midst of thee an afflicted and poor people, and they shall trust in the name of Yahuwah. The remnant of Yasharel shall not do iniquity, nor speak lies, neither shall a deceitful tongue be found in their mouth. For they shall feed and lie down, and none shall make them afraid.
All right, so what does this have to do with wisdom? What does all of this gathering have to do with wisdom? Because many people have, we have known many people have passed through us, but they just don't get the requirements of the Most High. They just don't get what the Most High actually requires of us. We must have wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to be in the remnant. We must have spiritual wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Or else we cannot be true believers who will be in the remnant. Now, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, all three of them are connected to the law, to the Torah. What we're going to do, we're going to kind of reinforce what we believe, show what we believe, and show it to be true in the scriptures. So we're going to need knowledge. Hosea 4 verse 6, let's see that. All of them are connected to the Torah. We can do nothing without the Torah. Anyone tells us otherwise, they are liars. Hosea 4 verse 6, and we'll see how it's connected to the law.
My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy Elohim. I will also forget thy children.
So the knowledge there is connected to the Torah. Seeking knowledge outside of the Torah is pointless and futile. Because you have forgotten the law of thy Elohim. That is why you are being destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because when you follow the Torah, you will receive the knowledge that you need. So we need understanding as well. Psalms 111 verse 10. Understanding. And let's see its connection to the Torah, to the law. Go ahead.
The fear of Yahuwah is the beginning of wisdom. A good understanding have all they that do his commandments. His praise endureth forever.
So understanding you get when you do his commandments. Wisdom now on the commandments. Sirach 19 verse 20.
The fear of Yahuwah is all wisdom, and in all wisdom is the performance of the law, and the knowledge of his omnipotency.
So there we go. Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding have to do with the Torah, to the law, and to the testimony. If they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. Torah has to be our foundation. So in our gathering, we have to use the Torah as the foundation. Anybody's wondering, oh, why do you follow the Torah? Why do you seek to do this? Or why do you seek to do that? Why do you focus so much on uncleanness? Why do you this? Why do you that? Because without the Torah, we are in darkness. So we're speaking about him gathering us, okay? How will he gather us? How will he gather us? He will give us obedient shepherds to lead us. People, follow the leader the Most High gives you. That person might be despicable, or you don't like them, or think them incompetent. I will repeat over and over again. Time when that pastor was speaking and he didn't have knowledge of the scriptures, he didn't have knowledge of the scriptures. And I undermined him, and the Most High hit me with chastening. Hard chastening. Because of that. Alright? Don't look on people. As James says, a man comes in with fancy garments. You are respecter of person and you commit sin. The Most High will send obedient shepherds to lead us. Isaiah 30 verses 19 to 21. Isaiah 30, 19 to 21. Go ahead.
For the people shall dwell in Zion at Jerusalem. Thou shalt weep no more. He will be very favorable unto thee at the voice of thy cry. When he shall hear it, he will answer thee. And though Yahuwah give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner any more, but thine eyes shall see thy teachers, and thine ears shall hear a word behind thee, saying, This is the way, walk ye in it, when ye turn to the right hand, and when ye turn to the left.
Hey. The Most High says, thine eyes shall see thy teachers. They shall not be in a corner. That means they shall not be hidden. So the Most High will give you teachers, according to his own heart, to lead you and to guide you.
Jeremiah 3:14, 15.
Yeah, I'm going there. And yet still, I'll be here and I'll say, all right, any questions you have, you can ask me. Nobody asks questions. What they do, they go for a video. and go outside. We have, the last time I checked, 331 videos we have. 331 videos. Most of them 2 to 3 hours long. Almost every question that you need to ask, it is right there. Almost every question, if it is not in the topic, it is in the body. The amount of things we have looked into since we have been here. And instead of looking on, you don't even have to watch the video. They just have to come to me and ask me. Instead of asking me, what do they do? YouTube. Gone. And that person almost surely is not going to say the same thing that I'm saying. It says that ear shall hear a word behind thee saying, this is the way, walk ye in it. Now this is very important. If you notice how we teach here, we teach righteousness. What are we doing here all the while? Isn't it correcting people? Saying this is the way, this is how you should walk, this is how you should do. No, you must not do that. This is the prophesied. We don't go and tell people and build channels telling people what they want to hear. We speak righteousness. This is the way, walk ye in it, when you turn to the right hand or when you turn to the left. So if you're off, you will be corrected. Go ahead.
I mean, if you go according to what people intended to their heart, that would be the wide.
That would be?
The wide way.
Mm.
But narrow is the gate, and few that find it.
Yes.
Which is why the channel is not as widely explored.
Yes.
Because is a few would find this channel, and also is a few would find the way.
Yeah.
So you would speak against the flesh, because it's the flesh we're supposed to speak against. And people don't want to hear you speak against the flesh. So you wouldn't be as popular. So that is why you know that this is the way that the Most High chose to lead his people.
Yeah.
Because few would find the narrow gate.
Yeah. Jeremiah 3:14 to 18. So when you're coming out, when you're coming out of Babylon, you have to find one of the leaders that the Most High chose. Yeah? And follow them. Because the wisdom that you might have might not be coming from above. James 3:14. Jeremiah 3:14, sorry.
Turn, O backsliding children, saith Yahuwah, for I am married unto you, and I will take you, one of a city, and two of a family, and I will bring you to Zion.
To Zion.
And I will give you pastors according to mine heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding.
You see it there again? When the Most High takes you out of Babylon to go to Zion, he's going to give you shepherds, pastors, according to his own heart, which shall feed you with what? Knowledge and understanding. Remember, we said to be a true believer and to get into the kingdom, you need knowledge and understanding. How is it? We're going back on YouTube, Facebook, wherever, seeking out knowledge and understanding from these people who the Most High has not given. The Most High did not give us those people, but yet still we are following them and not following the person who he has given us. Verse 16.
And it shall come to pass, when ye be multiplied and increased in the land, in those days, saith Yahuwah, they shall say no more, the ark of the covenant of Yahuwah, neither shall it come to mind, neither shall they remember it, neither shall they visit it, neither shall that be done any more. Mm-hmm. At that time they shall call Jerusalem the throne of Yahuwah, and all the nations shall be gathered unto it, to the name of Yahuwah, to Jerusalem. Neither shall they walk any more after the imagination of their evil heart. Mm-hmm. In those days the house of Judah shall walk with the house of Yasharel, and they shall come together out of the land of the north, to the land that I have given them for an inheritance unto your fathers.
Here we go again. So we have the same gathering together, going into the land. But before that, he will give you pastors. Because why must he give you pastors? He told you that they have been polluted. His sheep have been polluted. So he has to give you pastors now to straighten you out, to change you, to transform you. And that is why, since we have been here, I know that is why, that now I'm seeing why. Since we have been here, I have been telling us, even the other day I was saying that it is a different way. Wasn't I saying that? That this way, we have to go back to the old path. We have to forget everything about what we learned in Babylon. We have to reject everything and start over anew. Isn't that what I have said? And I was even chastised. One person came and said, "Will you talk about start over, whatever, something?" You have to start over into the way of righteousness, into the old ways that our fathers walked. We cannot walk the same way that we used to walk. And so that is why he will give us pastors who will direct us in that way. But the problem with knowledge, though, so he will give you obedient shepherds, shepherds according to his own heart, to feed you with knowledge and understanding. But what is the problem with knowledge? The main problem with knowledge is one of George's favorite word. What is that word, George? Right. Right. 1 Corinthians 8, verse 1 to 3. Yes, you remember this? You referred to this. 1 Corinthians 8, 1 to 3. Yeah.
Now, as touching things offered unto idols, we know that we have all the knowledge. Knowledge.
No, not all the knowledge. All knowledge.
We know that all have knowledge. Knowledge puffeth up, but love edifieth.
Knowledge puffeth up. Knowledge makes you prideful. Verse 2.
And if any man think that he knoweth anything, he knoweth nothing yet as he ought to know. But if any man love a lure, the same is known of him.
So this is the blindness that we're talking about. If any man think that he know anything, he know nothing as he ought to. So we have to think of ourselves as not knowing anything. We are just I'm just a fool around here. That's why several times you hear me refer to myself as an idiot. I am not ashamed to say that I'm an idiot to the world. An idiot who only through the Most High's word and his rock do I have any sense. Understand? So we have to have that thinking in our minds, because if we think that we know, then we will know nothing. We have to think, and Hamashiach said it, we're going to look at it as well, when he says, now you say you see, therefore your sins remain. When you think you know, you are going to remain in sin. Now it says, but if any man love Allah, the same is known of him. What are we going to do in this teaching? We're going to culminate a whole lot of things together. You have to concentrate to put everything together. Everything is going to be fitted together to show the package of what we teach and what we believe, to show people out there that what we're speaking is the truth. So it says, if any man love Allah, the same is known of him. How is it known that we love Allah? How is it known? How do we know that we love Allah? Yes. No? Well, yes, that is one. Yeah, that is one.
Keeping his commandments.
Thank you very much. Yazzie, you lose. Deuteronomy 7 verses 9 to 10.
Could we look at one verse before that?
Yeah, go ahead.
In Sirach 19:24.
Yeah, Sirach 19:24.
He that hath small understanding and feareth allure is better than one that hath much wisdom and transgresseth the law of the Most High.
Ah, that's a good one.
It's not what you know, it's what you do with what you
Yeah,
know.
but. Get a mic, please. Keep a mic by you, just in case. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's not so much what you know, it's what you do with what you know.
Yeah.
Or it's not so much how much you know, it's what you do with the little that you know.
I think this is another. I think this is probably a heading further on too. It's what you do with what you know. What you know has to change you. Has to change you. That's the important thing. We're going to look at it as well, acquiring knowledge. Yeah, that's another part of it. That's what we want. So where were we again?
You go to Deuteronomy.
Yeah, Deuteronomy 7, verses 9 to 10, I said.
Know therefore that Yahuwah thy Eluah, he is Eluah, the faithful Eluah, which keepeth covenant and mercy with them that love him and keep his commandments.
That do what?
That love him and keep his commandments to 1,000 generations.
1,000 generations. Yeah, that's how love important and keeping his commandments important. So when they say the law is done away with then, and he says to 1,000 generations, so 1,000 generations have expired. Because 1,000 generations would have expired for us to qualify to say the commandments is done away or the law is done away. Anyway, verse 10.
And repayeth them that hate him to their face, to destroy them. He will not be slack to him that hateth him. He will repay him to his face.
So you see what's going on right here? If you don't keep his commandments, the Most High say, you hate me. And if you hate me, I'm going to destroy you. And this thing's not easy. If you don't keep my commandments, that means you hate me. If you hate me, I'm going to destroy you. How many people in religion are saying they I love God. I love Him. I love the Most High. How many people are saying they love Him and they don't keep His commandments? Anytime again you hear somebody say they love Yahuwah, I tell them, so do you keep His commandments? No. Well, you don't love Him. Bring them back to this verse. Or these two verses. Anyway, the love of Yahuwah and His commandment. Romans 2, verse 13. Remember we said wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, all of them are connected to the Torah? Romans 2:13. Go ahead.
For not the hearers of the law are just before Eluah, but the doers of the law shall be justified.
So you're there hearing the Most High. And it's speaking about the law, the law, the law. Like Seventh-day Adventists, they speak a lot about the law. Because they believe the Ten Commandments is the law. How can you have a law without judgment? How can you have a law without judgment? There is no judgment in the Ten Commandments. Eh? Then Hamashiach told us about the two greatest commandments. Look at this. No, before we reach there. Matthew 19. Is it Matthew 19? Yes. No, man. Not this one. This one with the lawyer came. Matthew 22, verse 36.
Master, which is the great commandment in the law? Yahusha said unto him, Thou shalt love Yahuwah thy Eluah with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment. And the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets.
All right. Now look at this here now. Which is the great commandment in the law? So the Ten Commandments, part of the law. Yeah? Those are commandments. Commandments also has testimonies, ordinances, statutes. Yeah? No, the Christian will tell you, oh, I keep the law because I love my neighbor as myself and I love the Most High with all my heart, mind, and soul. The Seventh Adventist man will tell you that he keeps the law. But this law, the greatest commandment, they are not in the 10 Commandments. So if you say you're keeping the 10 Commandments, these laws, love your neighbor as yourself, these are in the book of Leviticus, I think, not in the 10 Commandments. Leviticus 19, love thy neighbor as thyself. Leviticus 19:18.
Thou shalt not avenge, nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people,
Yeah.
but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself.
All right.
I am Yahuwah.
So that is there. It's not in the 10 Commandments. Deuteronomy 6 verse 5.
And thou shalt love Yahuwah, thy Eluah, with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might.
So that is also not in the 10 Commandments. These are the two greatest commandments, and they are not in the 10 Commandments. So how can you call the 10 Commandments the law? Anyway, let's go back to love and the commandments. 1 John 2:4. One John 2:4. Go ahead, please.
He that saith, I know him, and keepeth not his commandments, is a liar, and the truth is not in him.
And the truth is not in him. Commandments go with love. 1 John 5:2.
By this we know that we love the children of Eluah, when we love Eluah and keep his commandments. For this is the love of Eluah, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous.
So when Shaul says, he that loveth Yahuwah, the same is known of him, it is when we love the Most High and keep his commandments, that is when it will be known of us. So, talking about knowledge, the good knowledge comes to us through the grace or the favor of the Most High. 1 Corinthians 1, 3-10. 1 Corinthians 1. His favor is going to give us this knowledge. Go ahead.
Favor be unto you, and peace from Eluah our Father, and from the Master, Yahusha HaMashiach. I thank my Eluah always on your behalf, for the favor of Eluah, which is given you by Yahusha HaMashiach.
This is the favor that we want. This is the knowledge that we want, the one that comes through Yahusha HaMashiach. That is why we don't spend our time here talking about all sorts of things and focusing on all sorts of things. We focus on Yahusha HaMashiach. That is the knowledge that is important. That is the knowledge. And you will not hear us with many words about things, worldly things and all of that. It is the knowledge that is in Yahusha. Verse 5 says,
that in everything ye are enriched by him, in all utterance and in all knowledge, even as the testimony of Hamashiach was confirmed in you.
So when you have the testimony of Hamashiach, this is what is going to happen now. Verse 7.
So that ye come behind in no gift, waiting for the coming of our Master, Yahusha HaMashiach.
Hold on there. You see what it's saying here? When you have the testimony of Yahusha HaMashiach, when you have the favor that is in him, when you follow him, yes, you will come behind in no gift. You will not be lacking anything. What else do you want? You will just be waiting for his coming. You'll be sitting waiting for his coming. But there are people in this world going to all sorts of knowledge and they want to find out this. They want to find out, like the Jews, Kabbalah. You hear them speaking about some big words. And I watch some people and I watch them just tell us learn what not to do. Trust me. And they're exploring things in the world and they're going the history and they're exploring that. And I'm saying to myself, this is how Mashiach that is important. Because when you have a Mashiach, all that is needed before the Most High, you will have. It is not what is acceptable to man. So I will be talking things that men like. Where does that put me with the Most High? I have to know what the Most High wants of me. And that is in Hamashiach. Verse 8. Read 7 to 8, please.
So that ye come behind in no gift, waiting for the coming of our Master, Yahushua HaMashiach, who shall also confirm you unto the end, that ye may be blameless in the day of our Master, Yahushua HaMashiach. Alua is faithful, by whom ye were called unto the fellowship of his Son, Yahushua HaMashiach, our Master.
This is what we are called to, the fellowship of his Son. That's why Shaul says, that I may know him, and the fellowship of his suffering. The fellowship of his Son means living, going through things similar to what his Son went through. This fellowship of his suffering. Let's go. It's Philippians 2. Alua is faithful, 1 Corinthians 1:9 says, Alua is faithful by whom ye were called unto the fellowship of his Son, Yahushua HaMashiach, our Master. Now let's go to Philippians chapter 2 to see the fellowship of his Son. Philippians chapter 2. That I may know him. Where is that? Or Philippians 3. Let me get it.
Verse 10 in chapter 3.
Chapter 3, okay. Let's go.
That I may know him and the power of his resurrection and the fellowship of his sufferings, being made conformable unto his death, if by any means I might attain unto the resurrection of the dead.
This is the fellowship of Hamashiach, the fellowship of his sufferings, being made conformable unto his death. This is where we need to be. This is where we must be. Eh?
You got to read from 8.
Huh?
You got to read from 8 past 7.
Yeah, read from 8. Read from 6. Philippians 3.
Concerning zeal, persecuting the assembly, touching the righteousness which is in the law, blameless. But what things were gained to me, those I counted loss for Hamashiach. Yea, doubtless, and I count all things but loss for the excellency of the knowledge of Hamashiach Yahusha, my Master, for whom I have suffered the loss of all things, and do count them but dung, that I may win Hamashiach, and be found in him, not having mine own righteousness, which is of the law, but that which is through the emunah of Hamashiach, the righteousness which is of Alua by emunah, that I may know him, and the power of his resurrection, and the fellowship of his sufferings, being made conformable unto his death, if by any means I might attain unto the resurrection of the dead.
So people, we have to strain to partake in his sufferings, the fellowship of his sufferings. Okay? And when we partake and fellowship of our Mashiach, it says, he will present us what? Blameless. Can you imagine? Blameless. No blame. This one is perfect because this one strove to live like me, strove to suffer like me. But how can we be blameless if we are hypocrites through knowledge? How can we be blameless if we are hypocrites through knowledge? I'm going to tell you something. This is what Shaul was teaching about the law. Being hypocrites through knowledge. The Pharisees, the bad Pharisees, they were good ones that Hamashiach encountered. In, was it Matthew 23? Woe unto you Pharisees, hypocrites! He went on in Matthew 23 to tell you all about the hypocrisy. Let's go there. Matthew 23, I think. Matthew 23. Start verse 1. No. Let me get to... Yeah, verse 13. Let's start at verse 13.
But woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For ye shut the kingdom of heaven against men. For ye neither go in yourselves, neither suffer ye them that are entering to go in.
All right, and in verse 14 there is a woe. And in verse 15 there is a woe. And verse 16 there is a woe. Woe's finished.
23.
In verse 23 there's a woe. And verse 25 is a woe. Woe is 27. Woe in 29. You finished? All right. Woes upon woes to the Pharisees. Why is that? Because they use worldly knowledge that did not change nor transform them. In the book of Nazareth, he told us that there are good Pharisees. The good ones is when the word transforms them, because we have righteous people who follow the Torah throughout the Old Testament. The word transformed them. But the word, if the word makes us religious and we are not transformed, we are just going through rituals. That is what Shaul was speaking about when he says we are not justified by the law, but by the faith that is in Yahusha. It's belief that justifies us. It's belief that changes us. And that's what Shaul was speaking about, but people don't understand. You have something?
Yeah, touching what we said earlier about blind teachers and giving sacrifices blemish. These scribes and Pharisees were the teachers of those people, but they were blind. They were blind to Hamashiach because they only had a mind set for Torah.
Yeah.
So these were blind leading the blind.
Yeah.
Yeah, we spoke about that. The sacrifices should be not made for the blind. Those leaders should not be blind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this hypocrisy, through knowledge, you know, so you manipulate and control people. Because if we go to Matthew 23, it tells you some of the things. Ye devour widows' houses for pretense, make long prayer. So that means they rob the widows. You compass sea and land to make one proselyte, one believer, and when he's made, you make him twofold more the child of hell than yourselves. So it was just deception. Anyway, 1 Corinthians 2, 17 to 29. Let's see what Shaul was trying to say in this light. Shaul was vilified. 1 Corinthians 2, what did I say? Oh, but 1 Corinthians 2 doesn't go. Where did I want to go? I don't even know. Let me see if I can find it. 1 Corinthians. 8. 1 Corinthians 2. It's Romans 2. Romans 2. 17 to 19. Let me change it. You can go ahead.
Behold, thou art called a Jew, and restest in the law, and makest thy boast of Eloah, and knowest his will, and reprovest the things that are more excellent, being instructed out of the law, and art confident that thou thyself art a guide of the blind, a light of them which are in darkness, an instructor of the foolish, a teacher of babes, which hast the form of knowledge, and of the truth in the law. Thou therefore, which teachest another, teachest thou not thyself? Thou that preachest a man should not steal, dost thou steal?
So this is what Shaul was speaking about. Shaul was no different from Hamashiach. Hamashiach came on the floor and said, woe unto you Pharisees, and everything. But Shaul wrote it different. Shaul spoke about the law itself. Instead of dealing with the man, Shaul dealt with the text that the man uses. That's the difference. So people think that Shaul was warring against the law. No, he was warring against the unrighteousness that came from the wrongful interpretation of the Torah, and also from the wrong that the hypocrites did in order to benefit from their religion. Continue.
Thou that sayest a man should not commit adultery, dost thou commit adultery? Thou that abhorrest idols, dost thou commit sacrilege? Thou that makest thy boast of the law, through breaking the law dishonorest thou Eloah.
You know what I'm seeing here? Shaul was a Pharisee. The Pharisees were in control in those days. If Shaul came out and hit out against the Pharisee and said Pharisee against that whole organization, they would destroy him right away. So what he did, he hit out on what they did. They hit out on the law that they used instead of saying Pharisees. But Hamashiach was more direct. Hamashiach said, woe unto you Pharisees. Continue.
For the name of Eloah is blasphemed among the Gentiles through you, as it is written.
This is when they make one proselyte and they make him twofold a son of hell than themselves, as Hamashiach said. Verse 25.
For circumcision verily profiteth, if thou keep the law. But if thou be a breaker of the law, thy circumcision is made uncircumcision.
Yes.
Therefore,
This is what Shaul is speaking about. Hypocrisy and the Torah. Continue.
therefore, if the uncircumcision keep the righteousness of the law, shall not his uncircumcision be counted for circumcision?
Look at that verse. Look in that verse. You see, the Christians, they're wicked, you know? They're wicked. Look in that verse where you see there. Read 26 again and tell me what you see in there.
Therefore, if the uncircumcision keep the righteousness of the law, shall not his uncircumcision be counted for circumcision? And shall not...
But what do you see in there? If the uncircumcision keep the righteousness of the law. If the law was done away and Shaul was saying it was done away, how can he be speaking about the righteousness of the law? He's saying if someone that is not a Jew keeps the righteousness of the law, he's going to show you up as being uncircumcised. And he's also going to show up himself that he's circumcised.
It happens all the time. Because remember when Yahushua said, never in Yashar I've seen the emana of this centurion who is of another nation. This shows up all the time.
Yeah. Verse 27.
And shall not uncircumcision, which is by nature, if it fulfill the law, judge thee, who by the latter end,
By the letter.
by the letter and circumcision, does transgress the law.
All right. Shall not uncircumcision, which is by nature, if it fulfill the law. So the law can be fulfilled. What is the law done away with if it can be fulfilled? Yeah? Verse 28.
For he is not a Jew, which is one outwardly, neither is that circumcision, which is outward in the flesh, but he is a Jew, which is one inwardly, and circumcision is that of the heart, in the ruach, and not in the letter, whose praise is not of men, but of Eluah.
No, I don't know. Shaul is so misunderstood. I was reading on Facebook the other day, and man, they were talking about Shaul. He's a son of the devil. He's telling people to disobey the law. And he's Satan's tool in this dead.
Why would it be in this? Why would it be in
Mike.
If he was Satan's tool, why would he be? Why would he write so much letters? Why would his letters be documented?
Because they say he's there for confusion.
But if, as we said earlier in the top, if Yahuwah is not the author of confusion, then why would the author put confusion in the books?
But that's just it. Shaul is just like Hamashiach. He's a stumbling stone. Hamashiach was not clear. Hamashiach spoke in parables. Parables. So a lot of people do not understand. When he spoke about the parable of the 10 virgins, was that explained? I don't remember it being explained in the Bible. The parable of the prodigal son, that was not explained. Yes? We're going to look further about wisdom, the spiritual wisdom. The spiritual wisdom is only given to spiritual people. We speak wisdom to them that are perfect. The wisdom from above is only for those who are given to, it is given. It's very simple.
The scripture has to be taught. It's not just something you read and listen to. It has to be taught to you.
Yes.
And you can only teach it through wisdom and knowledge and understanding, which comes from the Ruach.
Yeah.
And humility.
Okay. Oh, yes. So which knowledge is most important? We're speaking about the knowledge that puffs up. Which knowledge is most important? 2 Corinthians 4, verses 3 to 6.
But if our good news be hid, it is hid to them that are lost, in whom the Eluah of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the exalted good news of Hamashiach, who is the image of Eluah, should shine unto them. For we preach not ourselves, but Hamashiach Yahusha, the Master, and ourselves, your servants, for Yahusha's sake. For Eluah, who commanded the light to shine out of darkness, hath shined in our hearts, to give the light of the knowledge of the splendor of Eluah in the face of Yahusha HaMashiach.
That's the knowledge that's important. The light of the knowledge of the splendor of Eluah in the face of Yahusha HaMashiach. Well, that sounds complicated, doesn't it? Why does it speak about the face of a Mashiach? Because many people will say they believe in a Mashiach. The Christians, for example, will tell you they believe in a Mashiach, yet they worship him as an idol. Everyone will say they know, but the Most High made sure that Shaul said, in the face. So this knowledge is in the face of a Mashiach. What is the importance of the face of a Mashiach? Psalms 105 verse 4. The face is not just looking. You get something from the face. Psalms 105 verse 4. Read please.
Seek Yahuwah and his strength. Seek his face evermore.
Seek his face evermore. When you seek his face, you're going to seek his strength. And how do we seek Yahusha's strength? Let's see what he said. Let's see what he said to Shaul to see the strength that is in Yahusha HaMashiach. 2 Corinthians 12 verse 9. This is the strength of HaMashiach. How Yahusha's strength is manifested in us. 12 verse 9.
And he said unto me, My favor is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Most gladly, therefore, will I rather exult in my infirmities, that the power of Hamashiach may rest upon me.
You see the face of HaMashiach? The face of HaMashiach. The strength that we get from him is in our weakness, in our infirmities, in our afflictions, in our trials, in our tests. That is when the power will rest upon us. It's a strange thing about this spiritual thing, how the Most High does it. When we are nothing, when we are not, when we are zero, when we are deficient, that is when he is strong. When we are strong, when we are powerful, when we are exalted, that is when the Most High flees from us. The Most High can only work in a weak vessel, in an, what should I say?
Surrendered.
In a surrendered vessel, a vessel that has given up to him.
Vessel of honor.
Yeah. Simple. Galatians 6:13 to 18. The face of Yahushua Mashiach. Go ahead, please.
For neither they themselves who are circumcised keep the law, but desire to have you circumcised, that they may exult in your flesh. But Elohim forbid that I should exult, save in the stake of our Master, Yahushua HaMashiach, by whom the world is crucified unto me, and I unto the world.
So this is the only thing he exalts in. This is the knowledge that we are seeking. The knowledge of the face of Yahushua HaMashiach. Because that is the only thing that's important for us now. Verse 15.
For in Hamashiach Yahusha neither circumcision availeth anything, nor uncircumcision, but a new creature. And as many as walk according to this rule, peace be on them, and mercy, and upon the Yasharel of Elohim.
So nothing else is important unless you become a new creation, a new creature. Verse 17.
From henceforth let no man trouble me, for I bear in my body the marks of the Master Yahusha.
Look at that. The face of Yahushua HaMashiach. He bears in his body the marks of Yahushua HaMashiach. People just cannot even fathom what it means to follow Yahusha. It's not a pleasant ride to be truly, truly followers of HaMashiach. He says he bears in his body. So what Shaul is saying here, I don't want, whatever they have to say, it doesn't matter. I have the evidence in my body. I bear the marks in persecutions, in trials, in floggings, in shipwrecks, in all of that. He bears in his bodies the marks. So when you bear in your body the marks, who can speak to you? Because you're living as Hamashiach lived. And that is pleasing before the Most High, strange enough. Yeah? So, we were speaking about blindness earlier. Let's get back to blindness. Hamashiach told us, Shaul spoke against legalism. Legalism is a strict obedience to the law. Strict obedience to the law without any righteousness in it. Now, Hamashiach did a similar thing. Luke 11:52 to 54.
Woe unto you, lawyers!
Woe unto you who?
Lawyers!
Hey, this is the same thing that Shaul did. And they say, Shaul, oh, you're saying you're fighting against the law. You say don't believe. That's the same thing that Shaul did. Read it again, please.
Woe unto you, lawyers! For ye have taken away the key of knowledge. Ye entered not in yourselves, and them that were entering in ye hindered.
And if you look at the meaning of lawyers, it says an expert in the Mosaic law. Go ahead.
There's a good translation in the ISV of that verse.
Go ahead. Go ahead. You have it?
You got it?
Should have it.
Luke 11:52.
How terrible it will be for you experts in the law. You have taken away the key to knowledge. You didn't go in yourselves, and you kept out those who were trying to go in.
So, the experts in the law, they've taken away the key of knowledge. And this is what religion does today. The key of knowledge. When we were in Christianity, it's when we came out to realize how much they polluted us, how we were deceived. They took away the key of knowledge and polluted us. Yeah? And them that were entering in, he hindered. They hindered us by giving us false doctrines that were leading us into the wrong path. Verse 53. There's another thing now with legalists, which is why Shaul was fighting against those who were justified by the Torah. Read 53.
And as he said these things unto them, the scribes and the Pharisees began to urge him vehemently, and to provoke him to speak of many things, laying wait for him, and seeking to catch something out of his mouth, that they might accuse him.
You see, anytime you have people that's waiting on you to say something to accuse you, who do you think that is? The accuser of the brethren. Who is the accuser of the brethren? Satan. Satan is using us to try to find something to accuse the brethren. This is what the Pharisees did. These are the people that Shaul was speaking about. So this is why Shaul said something like this. Galatians 2 verse 15. 15 to 16. This is why Shaul said this. Because we want to get an understanding of Shaul, because people out there are going to come to you and try to tell you that Shaul is false and you must not listen to him. You have to get the deeper understanding. Galatians 2 verse 15.
We who are Jews by nature, and not sinners of the Gentiles, knowing that a man is not justified by the works of the law, but by the emunah of Yahushua HaMashiach, even we have believed in Yahushua HaMashiach, that we might be justified by the emunah of HaMashiach, and not by the works of the law. For by the works of the law shall no flesh be justified.
So they look at this now and say, Shaul was saying, you must not keep the law. But what did Shaul say here in Romaim 2 verse 13? Go to Romans 2:13. They say, Shaul, you have to pick up Shaul thing, precept up and be line up and line here a little, there a little. Or else, you're going to go all over the place and think that Shaul means something else. Here he says in verse 13.
For not the hearers of the law are just before Eluah, but the doers of the law shall be justified.
So imagine this. Shaul says the doers of the law shall be justified. What is he saying here? He's speaking about the hypocrites in the previous verse. Let's go back to it. Galatians 6. Galatians 2, 17 to 18.
But if, while we seek to be justified,
No, Galatians. No, where am I?
was it 6:15?
Galatians. I was at the wrong place. All right, sorry. 2:16. All right. So we're done with that. So Shaul was not saying anything different from what Yahusha was saying. That's why it says, be ye followers of me even as I am of Yahusha. But on the other hand, so Hamashiach said, woe unto you lawyers. So he was condemning the lawyers. But on the other hand, Yahusha said this, just like Shaul. Shaul will say something here, and then he goes and says something on the other hand. Same thing with Messiah. On the other hand, Yahusha said this, Matthew 19, 16 to 17. So he spoke about the lawyers, now the commandments.
And behold, one came and said unto him, Good master, what good thing shall I do, that I may have eternal life? And he said unto him, Why callest thou me good? There is none good but one, that is Eluah. But if thou wilt enter into life, keep the commandments.
If you want salvation, keep the commandments. So Messiah, like Shaul, was not saying that the law is done away with or don't keep the law. They were speaking about the hypocrites of the day. You have to understand the religion of the day. Just look at Christianity today. Just look at Christianity today. How many people have polluted and they're having their own way. Different people at different degrees. Some people getting rich out of it and having jet planes and all. It is those type of things that we were speaking about. Unrighteous people who are using their position and using the Torah to their benefit. So Yahusha said that, which is why Shaul said this. Galatians 2, 17 to 18.
But if, while we seek to be justified by Hamashiach, we ourselves also are found sinners, is therefore Hamashiach the minister of sin?
Yes.
Eluah forbid. For if I build again the things which I destroyed, I make myself a transgressor.
Shaul is saying here, all right, we are not justified by the law, but we are justified by the faith that is in Hamashiach. If while we are seeking that, we are in sin, are we saying that Hamashiach is the minister of sin? He says, Eluah forbid. If I build the things which I destroyed sin. Through Yahusha, sin was destroyed. If I build it again, I become a transgressor. So in other words, you cannot break the law. That's what Shaul was saying. Anyway, so we're speaking earlier about the gathering. I didn't put this thing together properly at all. But I hope you remember. We were speaking about the gathering of his people. Who will save his people? Who will save his people? The blind Messiah. The blind Messiah. Remember, we're speaking about blindness, good blindness and bad blindness. We're going back now to blindness. Who will save his people? The blind Messiah, Isaiah 42, 18 to 21. You see, we have to be blind in order to inherit the kingdom of the Most High. Isaiah 42 from 18 to 21.
Hear, ye deaf, and look, ye blind, that ye may see. Who is blind but my servant?
Oh. So his servant is blind, and he's calling also for those who are deaf and blind. 19, please.
Who is blind but my servant, or deaf as my messenger that I sent? Who is blind as he that is perfect, and blind as Yahuwah's servant?
Who is blind as he that is perfect? We speak wisdom among them that are perfect. Wisdom that the perfect get will be because they are blind. Continue.
Seeing many things, but thou observest not, opening the ears, but he heareth not. Yahuwah is well pleased for his righteousness' sake. He will magnify the law and make it honorable.
He will magnify the law. So the blind Messiah is the one who will be gathering his people. Therefore, his people who are gathered must also be blind. the absolute importance of being blind, John 9:39 to 41.
And Yahusha said, For judgment I am come into this world, that they which see not might see, and that they which see might be made blind.
Here is the thing now. Remember, we looked at the two different blindnesses. Blindness, sorry. They which see not might see. These are those who have never gotten the truth. And they which see might be made blind. These are those who have the truth, believe they have the truth, and hold on to the truth and hold on to the lies. Verse 40.
And some of the Pharisees, which were with him, heard these words, and said unto him, Are we blind also? Yahusha said unto them, If ye were blind, ye should have no sin. But now ye say, We see, therefore your sin remaineth.
All right, so if they were blind, they would have no sin. So that's why it's important to be blind. Because when you're blind, you are open to the truth and open to righteousness and open to Yahusha. But now they say they see, therefore their sin remains. They will remain as they are because they believe that they know. That's why it's important for us people not to believe that we know anything. So the prophecy of this blindness, I think we looked at it. Let me see. Isaiah 42 from verse 14. Let me see if we looked at it. Isaiah 42 from verse 14. Let me just take a look at it. All right. Start from 14 to 17 because we looked at the part. So this is the gathering of the blind in the end. If you are not blind, man, go about your business and go and enjoy this world. You have to be blind for you to be gathered. Isaiah 42 verse 14.
I have long time holden my peace. I have been still and refrained myself. Now will I cry like a travailing woman. I will destroy and devour at once. I will make waste mountains and hills, and dry up all their herbs, and I will make the rivers islands, and I will dry up the pools.
All right, so he's going to bring those who can see. Let's see if he's going to bring those who can see.
And I will bring the blind by a way that they knew not.
This is the importance with the blind. You can't know anything. You have to be zeroed out. That is why my sister and I used to talk back in the days, the younger days, we were ministering to Christian, and we always said, she always said, I would prefer a million times to talk to an unbeliever rather than a Christian. This is it. The Christian is not blind. That's why I see a conversation with a Christian. What do? They repeat, regurgitate the things that their pastors programmed in them. And stop any passage of anything. That's why when I'm speaking to people, I tell them, shh. I shouldn't do that because I use that as a sign. They might say I'm doing that. Yeah. Yeah. These people are so, the Pharisees trying to trap people. So I tell them, shh, don't say anything, just listen. And the only way you can get anywhere is when they just totally listen. But the Christians, they know, oh, but Paul said this. And that is why Paul said this and Paul said that. If you say you see, your sin is going to remain. Yeah? I will bring the blind by a way that they knew not. So you know your way. Eh? You know your way. Go ahead.
This Isaiah 42:16. This is a good picture of how the good shepherd leads from the front. The shepherds here in the wilderness lead the flocks from the back. Mm-hmm. So they wander off, they go each their own way because they're not blind, they can see. But he constantly has to correct them. Whereas Yahushua HaMashiach leads from the front. Mm-hmm. He says, you follow me.
Yes.
I don't follow you, you follow me.
Yes.
But the ones who aren't blind in this world say, you don't need to lead me, I can lead myself.
Yes.
I can see already.
Yes.
So now he's telling us, no, you need to be blind. You just walk the way, you follow me. Because you have to lead a blind person. They can't lead themselves. Isn't that right?
Yes, but it's the same thing in the assembly. You have people here who think they have knowledge. And the Most High puts people here to lead. And people are going their own way, having their own doctrine. I don't agree with this. I don't agree with that. Going their own way, doing their own thing. You're not going to reach anywhere. You have to be blind to be led by a way that you know not. And when you come here and you hear what I'm saying, you did not have that before. You did not hear that. That's not what I agreed with. That's not what I believe. That's not what. No, he's here to lead the blind. He's not here to lead those who already know. Very important. Because if you hear a lot of the teachings that we have, different from many people elsewhere. But I know that it's the truth and it is tried and tested. I can do it over and over and over and over again. Over and over. And whomever has a different teaching from me, bring it. I will accept it. I am open because I don't want to be misleading people. Bring it and let us test it. And we'll see. If you are right, I'll say, okay, you got that one. But it's the blind that he has gone for. Read 16 again. Read from verse 15.
I will make waste mountains and hills, and dry up all their herbs. And I will make the rivers islands, and I will dry up the pools. And I will bring the blind by a way that they knew not. I will lead them in paths that they have not known. I will make darkness light before them, and crooked things straight. These things will I do unto them, and not forsake them.
Yes. These things will I do to them and not forsake them. So if he does it any other way, he will be forsaking them. Okay? Now, the spiritual manifestation of him delivering the blind was made through Yahushua Mashiach. And many of us didn't even realize it. This, unless we go deeper into this and understanding this blindness. The spiritual manifestation through Yahushua. Matthew 15:30-31 is an example. So the Most High did these things to show us that I'm gonna lead the blind. Yeah.
And great multitudes came unto him, having with them those that were lame, blind, dumb, maimed, and many others, and cast them down at Yahushua's feet, and he healed them.
That's the similitude. Many, lame, blind, dumb, maimed. These are who the Most High wants. The people who don't know. The people who are stumbling. The people who are defiled. And are willing to accept his son. These are the people who he wants. Not the people who know and say they see. Not the bright, brilliant people. If you're bright and brilliant and you know it all and you, I know that. Oh, I have already, I know that. I understand. Oh no, I have that. The Most High is not looking for you. Or you're too bright for him. Matthew 15:31.
Insomuch that the multitude wondered when they saw the dumb to speak, the maimed to be whole, the lame to walk, and the blind to see. Mm-hmm. And they exalted the allure of Yasharel.
That is what is coming in this end time again. Same thing. So we might not be going up to people and healing them and making the blind see, but we are doing it nevertheless. Whenever we go to someone who has not seen the word or known the word, we give them the light, the blind. That's it.
It's spiritual instead of physical.
Yes. So blind Shaul, we soon finished. Blind Shaul, or Paul, also came for the blind. So Shaul was also made blind, literally blind. Acts 26, verses 16 to 18. 26. 26. 16 to 18. Yeah.
But rise.
No. Let me go. Verse 13. Start from 13.
At midday, O king, I saw in the way a light from heaven, above the brightness of the sun, shining round about me, and them which journeyed with me. And when we were all fallen to the earth, I heard a voice speaking unto me, and saying in the Hebrew tongue, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? Is it hard for thee?
It is.
It is hard for thee to kick against the pricks. And I said, Who art thou, master? And he said, I am Yahusha, whom thou persecutest. But rise and stand upon thy feet, for I have appeared unto thee for this purpose, to make thee a minister and a witness, both of these things which thou hast seen, and of those things in the which I will appear unto thee, delivering thee from the people and from the Gentiles, unto whom now I send thee.
So what is this blind Shaul now sent to do?
To open their eyes,
Eyes of the blind.
and to turn them from darkness to light,
All right.
and from the power of Satan unto Allure, that they may receive forgiveness of sins, and inheritance among them which are sanctified by Emunah that is in me.
All right. And we know that Shaul was blinded and he had to go and have someone spiritually open his eyes. All right? 1 Corinthians 2, verses 1 to 16. First Corinthians 2, 1 to 16. Read it, please. As we said, all the wisdom that we need, all the knowledge that we need is the knowledge of Yahushua HaMashiach. Verse 1.
And I, brethren, when I came to you, came not with excellency of speech or of wisdom, declaring unto you the testimony of Allure.
When we have true wisdom, then the world will think of us as being fools. Because what we are speaking will not be excellency of speech, it will not be anything great and enticing to them. All Shaul wants to know, and this is what it has to be our focus. People, we have people out there every day, we're studying scripture. No, what is the focus on our lives? What is the change that has been made to our lives? Are we any closer to being like a Mashiach? Are we applying the scripture, or are we like the Pharisees, who are hypocrites, going out speaking the scriptures every day, and we are not even trying to change our lives? I'm not saying we are going to be immediately perfect, but try. Let the word change us. Because Shaul, as eloquent as he was, here's what he says in verse 2.
For I determined not to know anything among you, save Yahusha HaMashiach, and him crucified.
That's all you need to know. Not all the wisdom of this world. You don't need that.
That's what Christianity says, that all you need to know.
Yes.
Yeah,
But all you need to know does not mean sitting and worshiping him as an idol.
Yeah.
It means following him. And when we follow him, walking in obedience to his Father, walking in obedience to him, then we will get the knowledge that is important. The knowledge and the wisdom and understanding that comes from the Torah. It's absolutely different. So you're not going to be dumbed down. You're going to be wise. Because you're going to receive spiritual knowledge. Not the knowledge that you like get in school and you go and you study this and you swap this. And that's not the knowledge. It's the knowledge that is revealed through the Ruach. And the Ruach speaks to us spiritually and gives us that understanding. And the Ruach actually so speaks to us in giving us that understanding, it will become a part and parcel of us. It is the law written in our hearts.
Yeah.
Difference. Go
So,
ahead.
Yeah, so you're not supposed to come as if you know everything. You're
As if
supposed-
what?
As if you know everything. You're supposed to come as if you're a blank slate.
Yes.
Because it says to prove all things, hold fast to which is good. Yeah.
Yeah. Read 2 again, please. Into 3.
For I determined not to know anything among you, save Yahushua HaMashiach and him crucified. And I was with you in weakness and in fear and in much trembling. And my speech and my preaching was not with enticing words of man's wisdom, but in demonstration of the Ruach and of power, that your emunah should not stand in the wisdom of men, but in the power of Eluah. Howbeit,
We
speak wisdom among them.
Hold on. We speak wisdom to those that are perfect. Those that are perfect are those that are going to be high in emunah and not standing in the wisdom of men. Continue.
Howbeit, we speak wisdom among them that are perfect, yet not the wisdom of this world, nor of the princes of this world that come to naught. But we speak the wisdom of Eluah in a mystery, even the hidden wisdom which Eluah ordained before the world unto our splendor.
The hidden wisdom, the wisdom of the princes of the world. Can someone tell me an example of the wisdom of the princes of this world? Because I will forever be beating about this. Somebody give me an example of the wisdom of this world. Babylon's education. I will forever fight it down and negate everything that I have received from it. Only thing it would teach me to read and write and to reason. I have nothing to do with what I received to exalt it at any time at all. The wisdom that we got in school is the wisdom of the princes of the world. The princes of the world are the leaders of the world who have set up this world in Babylon along the path to make sure that whatever we learn is in direct rebellion to the Most High. Why do we think our children cannot turn or change? Our people that we know are finding it so hard to change. They have been riveted with the wisdom of the princes of this world. And they remain with that. Why do you think a whole lot of believers cannot be converted? Cannot accept this? Because the natural man does not know the spiritual things. They are natural. So for us to get truly spiritual, we have to come out of Babylon's education system. We have to come out of their ways of thinking. We have to stop exalting what we receive from them.
Because they've been taught lies that they believe is truth.
That's it.
The earth is flat.
Yes. The biggest lie.
And it's because they're so headstrong or headstruck on getting this worldly knowledge of education, university, to even being pushed to success. They say, man, I'm going to get this education so I can be this successful.
Yeah.
So they're not going to be focused on spiritual things. They're going to be focused on things that they think they should gain, which was a brain, which was then the prince of the world, putting in us, thinking that is what we're supposed to get. Yeah.
Not the wisdom of this world, nor of the princes of this world, that come to naught. What does he mean come to naught? It doesn't come to naught in the natural world. It comes to naught in the spiritual world. It comes to nothing in the spiritual world. Verse 7.
But we speak the wisdom of Eluah in a mystery, even the hidden wisdom which Eluah ordained before the world unto our splendor.
So Shaul says, there's a lot of people don't believe in Shaul and think that he's false. You don't notice what he says? We speak the wisdom of Eluah in a mystery. That's what I did a teaching, I think on the radio, I did it here, about why we who are teaching cannot teach everything plain, so everybody can see. It's the wisdom of Allah is spoken in a mystery. Even the hidden wisdom which Allah ordained. So the Most High ordained that before unto our splendor. So when Shaul is speaking, if you do not have the power of the Ruach is not at work in you, you're not going to understand him. Because he spoke it in a mystery. Hidden wisdom. Hidden wisdom. Verse. Yeah.
Because Peter said that his teachings were hard to understand.
Yes.
Yeah. And same how Yahusha's parables were hard to understand as well.
Yes.
It's a good teacher.
Yes. 1 Corinthians 2 verse 8.
which none of the princes of this world knew. For had they known it, they would not have crucified the Master of splendor.
When he's speaking about the princes of the world, these are the equivalent to the leaders of the world today. New World Order people, American presidents and all of those. Leaders of these countries, these nations. If they had known, and why he says had they known, let me tell you a little thing here. The Bible is written, it's not written for everybody to see it. If you are righteous, then you can see it. That is why it's not everything that we can speak out there to let everyone know. Some things have to be hidden. Because if they had spoken these things plainly, then these people in this world, they would have known and said, no, no, no. If we crucify Yahusha, he's going to die for the sins of the world. Yeah? Likewise today, when you realize what is happening today with people who are preaching, YouTube, everybody's preaching and teaching is controlled on YouTube. Then they have artificial intelligence doing what? Scraping all the information.
Making it easier.
Eh?
Making it easier.
No, so they have all the information now. They are using artificial intelligence to manipulate all of that information so that they can know every single thing that we are doing and what we are thinking and all the revelations. That is why I think the Most High gave us Jar Radio. Put things on there that will not be going out on YouTube. So it kind of hidden in the sideline. Not that they can't scrape it, but it's kind of hidden away from those who are not to see it. So things have to be hidden. That is why the Bible is difficult. Because it's not meant for all. It's not meant for the enemies of the Most High to understand it. Verse 9.
But as it is written, eye hath not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which Allah hath prepared for them that love him.
Verse 10.
But Allah hath revealed them unto us by his Ruach.
Yes.
For the Ruach searcheth all things, yea, the deep things of Allah.
So when you're reading Shaul's writings, it's the Ruach has to be deeply embedded in you so that he can search out what Shaul is saying. That's why most people cannot understand him. That's why Christianity is deceived by him. And so many people today are falling away, saying that Shaul is a false teacher. Verse 11.
For what man knoweth the things of a man, save the Ruach of man which is in him? Even so, the things of Allah knoweth no man, but the Ruach of Allah. Now we have received not the Ruach of the world,
Right.
but the Ruach which is of Allah,
Right.
that we might know the things that are freely given to us of Allah.
So he gave us his spirit for us to be able to search out his spiritual things. We are not given the spirit of the world, so we search out the worldly thing.
John 16:13.
Huh?
John 16:13.
John 16:13. And then we'll get back to Corinthians. Go ahead.
Howbeit, when he, the Ruach of truth, is come, he will guide you into all truth. For he shall not speak of himself, but whatsoever he shall hear, that shall he speak.
That's
and,
the Ruach. Go ahead. Sorry, continue.
and he will show you things to come.
That's the Ruach. All right, that's what happened with Shaul. Let's get back to, where were we again? 1 Corinthians 2, verse 12, verse 13.
Which things also we speak, not in the words which man's wisdom teacheth, but which the Ruach HaKadosh teacheth, comparing spiritual things with spiritual. But
that's, people, how you understand Shaul's writing. You have to be spiritual, comparing spiritual things with spiritual, and the Ruach HaKadosh. Not in the words which man's wisdom teacheth, but which Ruach HaKadosh teacheth. Ruach HaKadosh teaches very complicated. How many times have we had dreams? And people have to be bursting their heads to try to figure it out. Eh? That's the Ruach. The Ruach is brilliant. And our intelligence is way below the Ruach. And the Ruach writes things to us in our minds, in dreams, etc., in visions. Very, very difficult to figure out. So if there's a Ruach that's teaching it, and the Ruach does this with us in dreams, that's the same thing he does with us in Shaul's teachings. Very difficult, so only when you have the Ruach you can get it. Verse 14.
But the natural man receiveth not the things of the Ruach of Eluah, for they are foolishness unto him. Neither can he know them, because they are spiritually discerned.
All right. So all those people that are rejecting Shaul, all those people are rejecting Shaul. I'm very sorry that you are the natural man. They are foolishness unto you. Neither can you know them, because they are spiritually discerned. If you want to know a natural man, a man who has no spiritual discernment, then look at someone who has rejected Shaul. How can you go through all of those and reject him flat out? Verse 15.
But he that is spiritual judgeth all things, yet he himself is judged of no man. Mm-hmm. For who hath known the mind of Yahuwah, that he may instruct him? But we have the mind of Hamashiach. Through
Ruach HaKadosh that dwells in us, we have the mind of Yahusha, Hamashiach. So we speak wisdom among them that are perfect. These are those who have Ruach HaKadosh, and those who are living in righteousness, in wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, obeying the commandments of the Most High, living away from pride, fearing the Most High. This is the wisdom that Shaul speaks. It's not for everybody. It's for those who are perfect. Yeah? So, I spoke earlier about us toiling over learning, reading all different types of things, getting all sorts of knowledge in our heads without Yahusha HaMashiach as our pilot. What is this? Yeah, without Yahusha HaMashiach as our pilot. I'm out of... What am I doing all the way here? Yeah, without Yahusha HaMashiach being our pilot. In the book of Ecclesiastes 7 verse 16, it tells us about being overwise.
Be not righteous over much, neither make thyself overwise. Why shouldest thou destroy thyself?
All right, making yourself overwise, laboring, you're destroying yourself. All you need to know is Yahushua HaMashiach and him crucified. Ecclesiastes and whatever else comes with that. Ecclesiastes 12 verses 12 to 14. That's where you're going next.
And further, by these, my son, be admonished, of making many books there is no end, and much study is a weariness of the flesh. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear Alua, and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For Alua shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil.
And hereby concludes today's proceedings. Nowhere else to go. Seek Yahusha Hamashiach. Seek him out. Seek to get to know him, the knowledge in the face of Yahusha Hamashiach. And then we are good to go. Okay? All right. All right, anyone with anything to say or ask before we go?
What led me to Ecclesiastes is 1 Corinthians 2:15, where it says, "Be he that is spiritual, judgeth all things."
Yeah.
So 2 verses come to mind where it says, "Prove all things, hold fast, which is good."
Yeah.
And also Ecclesiastes 12:13,
Yeah.
14, and 15, where we have to prove all things, and we have to see all things, and we have to judge all things,
Yeah.
and not be as if we know all things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Anything, George?
I just find it interesting how with the scriptures there's so much wisdom hidden in it, but it's done in such a way where if you don't have the spiritual wisdom to see what's there,
Yes.
you're not going to get it.
Yes.
Because it'll be confusing to the carnal man. He will see seemingly obvious contradictions, but when you're spiritual, you get the understanding. Like, for example, we were looking at blindness and how there's 2 different types of blindness.
Yes.
If you were just to read this as a carnal man with no understanding, you would be confused about Yahushua talking about coming to the blind and allowing them to see. But then also those who think they see,
Yes.
who know nothing and are in sin with their sin remaining.
Yes.
So there's a lot of different things in the scriptures that show where the spiritual are and where the carnal are. And if we're to be spiritual, we have to have that wisdom in us.
Yes.
So by rejecting the carnal things, we can receive the Ruach and all those spiritual gifts and words so that we can walk in the wisdom that Yahuwah wants us to have.
Yes. Yahuwah.
One last thing. You see how also where we keep saying to not reject Shaul's teaching.
Yes.
Remember the scripture says to the law and to the testimonies. If they speak not according to this, then there is no light in them.
Yeah.
Shaul is not necessarily quoting the testimonies of the prophets, but he says to judge all things, which is prove all things,
Yeah.
and which is let us hear the whole conclusion of the matter.
Yeah. Shaul reference, a lot of what Shaul is speaking is actually Torah. Yeah, but because of the translation, it might sound a little different.
Lost in translation.
Yeah. All right, anything else? All right, so thank you all for watching and or listening to us here, as today we had a very kind of unusual teaching, and I hope you got sense out of it. Hope you got something out of it, and please continue to watch our videos and continue to make it Jaw Radio, and we are at jawradio.org, jawradio.org, which is our 24/7 online radio. All right? Shalom.
Shalom.